me to express my profound appreciation to you for the invitation extended to me to serve as the lead speaker in this epoch-making occasion of the 55th Annual Conference of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICAN. The theme, Building Resilience, Realigning Reforms for Nigerian Development, is apt and reflective of our common realities where government constantly initiate policies and reforms geared towards economic development. It is only important that we strive to appreciate these reforms, understand the underlying objectives of government, and align our interests to meet these objectives of government. Let me use this opportunity to congratulate and appreciate all the organizers of this conference and the setting up of this platform, which will afford us the opportunity to air our views on such topical issues already outlined here. This conference, by my understanding, is designed, please, when I say my, I mean the executive chairman, not me. This conference, by my understanding, is designed to foster professional growth by providing insights into industry practices, especially in the area of understanding the emerging trends in accounting in Nigeria, sharing experience, and also creating an opportunity for networking with peers. On the topic, consequence management, the missing link in economic reforms. Generally speaking, consequence management is a concept that reflects a structured approach to predicting, identifying, and managing the negative outcomes of an event, encompassing both emergency situations and breaches of rules and regulations. Consequence management in the public sector entails the processes and controls for ensuring that officials of government and organizations are held accountable for their actions and for any failure to meet their responsibilities. It is a strategic approach in addressing misconduct. It fosters a culture of compliance, responsibility, and accountability by ensuring that fraud, waste, or unauthorized expenditures have their desired consequences. In consequence management, controls must address misconduct, unauthorized activities, and irregularities timely, decisively, and with a high level of consistency. Following from global patterns and standards in managing the conduct of unauthorized activities like fraud, corruption, and other economic vices, it starts from understanding the underlying gaps, the environment, and the vulnerabilities within the systems that allow people to do what they do, and developing strategies to mitigate those identified gaps. This strategy allows for proactiveness in managing consequences that may arise from reforms. Most critical and important in consequence management is the development of legal frameworks like the Fiscal Responsibility Act and a host of other legislatures designed to ensure accountability and transparency in government spending. It goes beyond mere establishment of legal frameworks, but it also entails good planning and budgeting, which ensures fiscal discipline and operational efficiency, linked to a broader macroeconomic objective of government. This equally guarantees that government actions are predictable and in an orderly manner, where problems can easily be solved when they arise. When rules and laws are breached, the breaches are traced easily, investigated, and prosecuted, as the case may be. Not having consequences following infractions of rules creates instability in the system. It signals that actions do not have repercussions, and where this is the case, resources, finance, and commercial activities would generally be suboptimal. Predictability and certainty in government business strengthens systems and empowers the rule of law, which also creates a sense of reliability in the rules for systems operating internationally and locally. It is worthy to note that enforcement of consequences for those rules set by government is non-negotiable. The responsibility to adjudicate and dispense justice, supported by the executive arm of government through the instrumentality of its investigatory and prosecutory agencies, like the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, which has sufficiently discharged its mandate aimed at ensuring that acts of corruption and financial crimes are investigated and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. The EFCC has recorded huge successes in recent times, evident in the financial recovery of 300,597,370,151 naira, with United States American dollar component of $326,496,959, with other components of recoveries of different currencies. Out of the recoveries that the EFCC had recorded just within the span of this year, 22,708,262 US dollars was recovered for the federal government, while the sums of 303,718,697 USD was recovered for individuals and the corporate sector. Besides these financial recoveries, the EFCC in 2024 recorded over 4,111 convictions from various criminal activities. The commitment of the EFCC indicates that the EFCC is not and will not rest on its oar to ensure that breaches of rules and laws have consequences capable of deterring potential criminals. The achievement of the EFCC, as indicated above, further goes to show that a strong consequence management regime boosts public trust and confidence in government, while poor consequence management encourages waste, corruption, and reduces the ability to collect taxes, and has an adverse effect in services to the rest of the economy, and investors' perception in the country is low. The link between consequence management and enforced economic reforms. Reforms in themselves are an integral part of human existence. In our everyday life, we strive for change in various ways possible to better our lives and to meet global trends and patterns. In the public sector, reforms are usually geared towards improvement in government, solving crises, or achieving both social and economic goals. Reforms are necessary to fix dysfunctional systems, increase awareness, efficiency, and accountability. Reforms can come in various ways, either by enactment of laws, new laws, organizational restructuring, economic reforms in terms of tax, labor, and market rules, etc. In most cases, public demands, crisis, social movements, or political leadership drives reforms. Reforms can produce both intended and unintended consequences. That is winner and loser. But whichever consequences reforms may bring, public support is key to their realization. Over time, Nigeria has carried out various economic reforms, dating back to what we can remember here, the 1986 Structural Adjustment Program, which was intended to promote fiscal austerity and stabilize the economy. This reform impacted seriously on low-income earners, thus raising serious public backlash. Reforms to capitalize and consolidate banks with the goal of strengthening the financial sector and improve stability and credit flow. The government has also initiated reforms in the oil and gas sector through subsidy removal efforts, and a gradual deregulation of the downstream sector, and a host of other reforms. All these reforms, in no little way, impacted the economic features or fortunes of Nigeria. The most recent economic reform in Nigeria is geared towards liberalizing the foreign exchange market, which has widened access to foreign exchange for businesses and investors, and aimed at stabilizing the currency and promoting foreign direct investments. These reforms may have contributed in putting Nigeria on where it stands economically in the global sphere. Other economic reforms in Nigeria are the tax and revenue mobilization reforms designed to broaden the tax base and improve tax collection to reduce Nigeria's overdependence in oil and gas, with the effect to increase voluntary tax compliance. Economic reforms usually come with challenges, which include limited resources or poor infrastructure to carry out most of the reforms, weak institutional frameworks with lack of competence to understand government reforms and realize them, and political inconsistencies, that is frequent changes in government and policies that disrupt reform processes and create uncertainties that discourage long-term investments. Most pronounced is the challenge of widespread corruption and diversion of government resources, thus undermining public trust. The missing link, therefore, in economic reforms in Nigeria clearly will relate to, as often stated, the effectiveness in the implementation of these reforms. That's how effective do we implement the reforms when they are made. The governance structure and the institutional willpower to carry out these reforms. Like many other reforms aimed at diversifying the economy, improving infrastructure, and attracting investment, the benefits of these reforms are often hindered by several factors related to lack of robust institutions to enforce policies and combat corruption, to ensure accountability and transparency. Corruption remains a significant obstacle that undermines reforms and deter investors' confidence, and the lack of effective private sector mobilization to genuinely drive government innovations. To address this missing link, institutions must be strengthened and the private sector should be carried along in making key reforms that will impact the economy. The establishment of a resilient, transparent, and accountable systems capable of sustaining and consolidating on the benefit derivable from reforms. Open government initiatives have over time shown to be an effective strategy in ensuring that government reforms work. This strategy is key also in applying consequences in the failure to adhere to its reforms. In conclusion, from what I have said so far, there's no gainsaying that there's a nexus between consequence management and economic reforms, and the link between them is justified through policies that enhance transparency and accountability and encourages unauthorized conduct like corruption and tend to diminish positive outcomes of economic reforms. Thank you very much for listening.